Are you tired of manually creating dozens of different histograms, bar plots, QQ plots to do your exploratory data analysis? Do you wish there was a package that could make it much more efficient and automatically create so many of these plots for you, summarize your data, help you find out what percentage of complete cases you have? If you answered yes to these questions, then this is the video for you. Hey everyone, welcome back. It's me, the part-time economist, and in today's video, I'm going to be introducing you to the DataExplorer package in the R programming language. This is an incredibly powerful package that is going to make your EDA so much more simple, so much more efficient, and I'm just excited to talk about it with you. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right in. We're going to use 3 different packages in today's video. Now, obviously the DataExplorer package, that's the whole point of the video. We're also going to be using the NYC Flights 13 package. This is just a sample data set. If you're working with your own data in real life, obviously you don't need this. And then lastly, the tidyverse for data manipulation, data cleaning, plotting, stuff like that. Okay, once you have those packages installed, pull them into your workspace using the library command, and let's go ahead and jump right in. So the first thing that I want to say is that this tutorial is influenced by the official documentation. So if you go to the DataExplorer package on CRAN, it's going to have a great tutorial. Credit where it's due. I am influenced heavily by that tutorial, but hopefully I'll be able to add a little bit of additional context just to make it easier to do some of these things. So with that being said, one of the first things that we like to do when we're looking at the data is to use the str command. Now this str command, it's not coming from that DataExplorer package. This is just a basic function, right? Now what this is doing is it's summarizing the different columns, the different variables that we have, and what data type they are. However, we can use the plot_str function from the DataExplorer package just to make that a little bit fancier. So I know this is small, I know it's hard to see, but basically what this does is it gives us a graphic representation of each column in the data set and what variable type it is. Now, that's pretty cool, but something that really stands out to me is this plot_intro command. What this does is it's going to instantly give you a visual depiction of your discrete columns, your continuous columns, what columns have all missing values, what percentage of your rows are complete, right? So what's really cool here is that it's giving you things that are useful from a statistical perspective, but it's also giving you a memory usage breakdown, which is super important, right? Because we all have different computer specs, right? Some of us are working on supercomputers. Some of us are working on PCs with not a lot of RAM or CPU, right? So knowing what your memory usage is for the data set is super important. If I'm working on a slower machine and I have 40 megabytes of memory usage, I know that I might want to scale down the data set before doing some of my analyses, just so that it doesn't take forever to run, right? So I think this is a great function. Now, there's a lot of different plots that we can create here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to breeze through a lot of these different plots because they all follow the similar format, the similar syntax, right? It starts with plot underscore, and then you pass in the type of plot you want, right? So plot missing is going to show you the percentage of missing values in each of your different columns. Plot bar is going to show you bar plots. Now, we also have the histogram, we have a density plot, we have correlation plots, and again, these are all going to follow very similar formats, so I'm not going to go through each one individually. However, I do want to point out a couple things for you. If we're looking here at this plot_QQ, right? If I was to run this just as it is, right, with a 40 megabyte data set, it would take longer than I want to wait to run. So we also have the option of doing this sampled underscore rows. And what this is going to do, it's going to basically cut down the data set in line. Now, keep in mind, obviously, if we're going to be doing multiple types of charts, it might be more efficient to scale our data set down and just create a new data set than having to do sampled rows equals in every single plot that we're doing. So we have that option. Now, another option I want to show you, we can go with by, and we can filter by a specific category, right? So if I go by, C-A-R-R-I-E-R, what that's going to do is it's going to create the QQ plot, but it's going to color code by the different carriers, right? And again, I am showing you this with the plot underscore QQ, but you can use these things again. You can use these with the other plots as well. So now box plots do need to be talked about a little bit by themselves because they require a different syntax. So we use plot underscore box plot. We pass in the name of the data set, and then we open the square brackets here. Now, it's important to note that we have to pass in two different things here. The first, we pass in a vector of the specific columns that we want. So in this example, I'm doing arrival delay and I'm doing the carrier, right? I could also add in additional columns, right? Maybe I also want departure delay. So we add in the columns that we want. Now we also can select by. So we have to pass in a specific variable to create these box plots by. So I'm going to do the arrival delay by the carrier. And what you're going to notice is that it is going to give me a box plot of the arrival delay, right? So we've got the whiskers, we've got the quartiles, and then obviously we have a lot of outliers here. We have all of those things. Now, that's how you do the box plots. One of the really cool things about this is that it allows you to quickly generate all of these different plots, right? So if you've watched my previous videos, you know I do a lot with ggplot, and I talk about how we can customize, how we can do all of these things that we really, to really make it pop. Now, I realize there's a trade-off, right? We can create beautiful plots with intricate details, but sometimes we also want something really quick, really fast, right? However, it's still possible to add a little bit of customization here, which is why I like this package so much. So let's suppose we want to create some scatter plots, right? And let me just show you this here. Let me get rid of some of this. So we're going to do sampled rows equals 100. We're going to go with title equals my plot. Now, in and of itself, that is just going to create the scatter plots for us. But let's suppose that we wanted to add just a little bit of customization, right? The cool thing is that we can actually add in a ggplot theme. So if you remember from traditional ggplot, right, we would go with plus, we would go with theme, and we would do something like plot.title, and we would go element underscore text, right? And we would add in the things that we wanted by using that plus sign command. We can't do that here, right? If we were to do that, it wouldn't work. However, there is a different option for us. So we can go with gg theme, and then we pass in the name of the theme that we want, right? So yes, we can use ggplot themes, but we have to create them externally. So what you'll notice is that up here, I have created the specific theme that I want. So I'm creating a variable called my theme. All of this here comes straight from ggplot, right? So plot title, element text, color equals purple. That it would be a valid theme in ggplot. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass that in here, and what you're going to notice is that it's going to color code that plot title purple. And again, we could add additional things, so we could go with hjust equals 0.5, right? That would move it to the center. We can do all of these ggplot theme customizations, which again is super amazing, which is super cool, but we just have to create it as an external thing. Now, the last thing that I want to show you is we can use this create report command. Now, remember when I said that this package makes EDA so much easier? If you run this command, it is going to automatically create basically an entire fully fledged EDA report, one press of the button, right? It's super incredible. So obviously this is a package that I am super excited about. Oh, last thing I want to show you. It is also possible to do a principal component analysis plot. Now, the reason that I did not demo this on screen is because I really struggle with PCA. It is not one of my strong points. I don't want to give, faulty information about PCA. So if you know what you're doing, if you're familiar with PCA, it is there. It's just not my strength, so that's why I didn't cover it here. But I hope this has given you a good overview of some of the things that the Data Explorer package can do. As always, I'd like to thank you for watching the video, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.